Most people believe that the great empires of Africa were built only by men-kings, warriors, and generals. But what if I told you that one of the fiercest military rulers in African history was a woman? A queen who rode at the head of her armies, wielding a sword and commanding respect across the vast savannas of West Africa. This was no ordinary monarch. She was Queen Amina of Zazzau, a fearless Hausa ruler whose name still echoes through history as a symbol of courage, expansion, and leadership. Her story is not just about conquest, it is about breaking boundaries. Amina's reign challenged the very idea of who could lead. She built walls around cities to protect her people, forged alliances, struck fear into enemies, and carved out a kingdom so powerful that her name was spoken with reverence from the edge of the Sahara to the forests of the south. She was both feared and admired, both warrior and builder, both conqueror and cultural icon. This is the story of Queen Amina of Zazzau, the Hausa warrior queen who refused to be forgotten. Early life in Zazzau begins in the 16th century in the Hausa city-state of Zazzau, known today as Zaria in northern Nigeria. Zazzau was one of the 7 Hausa Bakwai city-states, a network of kingdoms built on trade, agriculture, and defense. These states thrived on commerce, especially in goods such as leather, cotton, horses, salt, and slaves. Amina was born into royalty. Her father, King Nikatayu, ruled Zazzau with strength, and her mother, Queen Bakwa Taranku, later became ruler herself after his death. From her earliest years, Amina was immersed in the world of governance, diplomacy, and military strategy. Unlike most princesses, she did not simply watch from the sidelines. Amina grew up observing generals, traders, and political advisors who came to court. But Amina was different. While other young women of the palace learned domestic skills, she trained with warriors. She practiced archery, mastered horseback riding, and studied the art of war. By the time she was a teenager, she was already joining men in military drills. It became clear that this was no ordinary Princess. Amina was destined for power. Rise to power when her mother, Queen Bakwa Taranku, passed away, Amina's younger brother Karama took the throne. Yet Amina was not content to simply sit as a royal sister. She proved herself as a military leader by commanding troops in campaigns under her brother's reign. Her bravery in battle earned her the respect of soldiers and nobles alike. So when Karama died, the people of Zazzau did not hesitate. They crowned Amina queen. For the first time, a woman stood at the head of Zazzau's armies, not as a consort or regent, but as a ruling monarch. This was radical. In a deeply patriarchal society, a female warrior queen challenged norms. Yet Amina did not ask for permission. She knew leadership was taken, not given. She had the support of her people, the loyalty of her army, and the determination to expand her kingdom's power. The warrior queen, upon taking power, Amina made her intentions clear. Zazzau would not remain confined within its walls. She was determined to expand. Amina assembled an army of 20,000 infantry and 1,000 cavalry, a formidable force for the era. She personally led them into battle, armed with a sword and bow. Unlike rulers who stayed behind palace walls, she rode at the front, inspiring loyalty through courage. For 34 years, Amina embarked on military campaigns that transformed Zazzau into one of the strongest Hausa kingdoms. She conquered neighboring states, brought vast territories under her control, and opened new trade routes that enriched her people. Her campaigns extended Zazzau's reach far beyond its traditional borders, pushing southward into the forest regions and northward toward the Sahara trade centers. Through war, diplomacy, and sheer force of will, she expanded her influence across a wide stretch of West Africa. The Ganua, Amina's city walls. Amina was not just a conqueror, she was also a builder. She understood that expansion was meaningless without defense. To protect her cities, she ordered the construction of massive earthen walls known as Ganua. These walls, some of which can still be seen in northern Nigeria today, were not just military fortifications, they were symbols of power. A walled city meant security, prosperity, and strength. The walls became so iconic that even today Hausa people say, Ganua Amina, Amina's walls. Through these fortifications, Amina left a permanent architectural and cultural legacy that endured long after her reign. Fear and respect. Amina ruled with both fear and respect. She demanded loyalty from her people and tribute from conquered states. Her presence on the battlefield was both terrifying and inspiring. Enemies dreaded her invasions, while her own soldiers followed her with unshakable devotion. She was not a passive figurehead. She actively shaped politics, demanded recognition from allies and rivals, and commanded a reputation that spread across the region. Her reign was proof that leadership was not determined by gender, but by vision and strength. Legends of Queen Amina. Like many great historical figures, Queen Amina's life gave rise to legends. One story claims that Amina never married, choosing instead to take lovers from among her conquered territories, and that she executed them after a single night to protect her independence. While historians debate the truth of this tale, its existence highlights how Amina was seen as fiercely independent and unwilling to be controlled by men. Other legends describe her as a goddess-like figure, larger than life, with superhuman abilities on the battlefield. Her real accomplishments were already extraordinary, but over time they merged with folklore to make her an almost mythical heroine. Her death and mystery, the exact circumstances of Queen Amina's death, remain unclear. Some accounts say she died in battle at Atagara, a town near present-day Ida. Others suggest she died peacefully in her palace. Whatever the case, her death marked the end of an era, but not the end of her legacy. Even centuries later, Hausa oral traditions continue to celebrate her as one of their greatest rulers. Songs, poems, and stories keep her memory alive. Queen Amina's legacy. Queen Amina's story is more than just history, it is a symbol. She stands as proof that women can lead nations, command armies, and leave legacies that rival or surpass those of men. In modern Nigeria, her image appears in literature, art, and even on currency. She is remembered as the first woman to rule in Hausa land, the queen who built walls, expanded borders, and carved her name into history. Globally, she is celebrated as a symbol of female leadership. In an age where women's roles were restricted, Amina shattered limitations. She proved that true power is not defined by gender, but by vision, courage, and determination. Closing reflections? Imagine a queen riding into battle, sword gleaming under the hot West African sun, leading thousands of men into war without hesitation. That was Queen Amina of Zazzau. She was a leader who expanded her kingdom through conquest, built walls that still stand today, and became a timeless symbol of strength. Her story reminds us that leadership is not about tradition, but about courage, not about gender, but about action. Amina's name lives on because she dared to lead, dared to fight, and dared to build. So the next time someone tells you history was written only by kings, remember the warrior queen who rode at the head of her army. Amina of Zazzau